Hi, my name is Jared Rouben. I'm the head brewer for the Goose Island Brew Pubs.
And I'm Dirk Flanigan, the executive chef for the Gage and for Henri here in Chicago.
We decided to work with the Gage because their menu is created for beer. Not only do they have amazing beers on tap, but the food goes perfectly with beers, whether it's, his take on two different types of mussels. And when we had that dish last week over at the Gage, and then I had it again over at Henri, we thought, wow, this could be something amazing. We could create a beer that goes with that dish, but beyond that, there's so many other, items on this menu that are incredibly flexible with beer. So just getting a chance to meet with him, when we sat down and we started brainstorming, we went in all different directions, and that was when it really got fun because he was so excited about it, and I was even more excited about it, and that was kind of the beginning of our process.
So we set out to kind of make something that was a little smoky, a little mild fruit, and a kind of I guess a medium-bodied amber that's crazy food friendly.
We were sitting over at Goose Island Clybourne. We're having a couple beers, as we do with these collaborations, and we start, talking about the direction of beer. He said, Jared, I want this to be multi-dimensional. I want it to be approachable, and I want it to make sense with my food. And that's not easy because his food is incredibly complex with so many different layers of flavor. So we decided that we'd use a Saison yeast. He wanted the color of kind of a ruby red. And we wanted it to be bright and refreshing to make sense with the season. We're coming into kind of a spring summer. And he wanted you to be able to have more than one. And that's what we're going to do today. What was really cool with Dirk is, he kind of challenged me. He said, Jared, I want smoke involved in the beer. I do sausages, and there's a lot of other items on my menu that have a touch of smoke. He said he didn't want to hit anyone over the head with beef jerky, but at the same time, he thinks that with Belgian yeast, a touch of smoke, we're going to put a little bit of rye and a touch of chocolate in there. And with that, we're going to make a really beautiful beer today. So I'm incredibly excited, and he's a real pleasure to work with. And I think, having him here and the rest of the crew from the Gage and Henri it's going to be fun today.
There was a question of what will it go with, and I said I think about 90% of the menu at Gage and about 50% of the menu at Henri. If you're a beer drinker, it's going to have some, a little bit of that sour nuance, a little bit of smoky nuance, so that there's a lot of different layers, and so it'll go well with butter as well as go well with beets. So there's kind of it takes the challenge away from like what's it going to.
We're going to take some of our beer and we're going to put it in a bourbon barrel.
That was it.
And we're going to throw some wild yeast in there, let it age for about a year, pick up all those amazing flavors, and taste it a year from today. So
it's kind of a roll in the dice.
Yeah, roll the dice, and but I think a year later we're going to be ready for another beer, and
yeah, man,
it's going to take on a whole new profile.
It's a great learning process for me because I've never done anything like this, and I think it's such a craft, and there's so much to know that I want to thank Jared for showing me a little bit of it. So cool.
No, I'm excited. We're
yeah,
having a great time today.